Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for convening this important hearing, and thank you to our witnesses for joining us here today to share your insights and your testimony. For many Americans, the American dream includes home ownership. And we saw during the Biden administration that owning a home became increasingly out of reach, in part because his Department of Energy advanced numerous building and appliance regulations that raised cost, constrained consumer choice, and diminished our grid security. We've worked with President Trump to already reverse some of these policies, including signing into law the CRA resolution to rescind regulations imposed on appliances, including natural gas water heaters, dishwashers, and central AC. I appreciate our witnesses sharing their insights about the impacts of mandating burdensome building and appliance energy standards and discussing with us today the further steps that we can take to restore the American dream of homeownership. Mr. Hughes, I'd like to start with you. Your written testimony touches on a point that I think is important to understanding the impact of some of these regulations, and that is that the majority of your members, the majority of the home builders, are actually small businesses that build 10 or fewer homes per year. Is that right?
Correct.
Would you share with us how an expansive, very imposing regulatory burden affects those small businesses in particular and makes it more difficult for them to do their work?
That could be, give a couple answers there. I can speak to how it affects me. Many of our small builders are small builders because they build custom homes. And there's a wide variety of options in custom homes. So obviously there's going to be a lot more increased cost there. And at that price point, homeowners can afford more of the things that they want. More expensive appliances, more efficient appliances. But we still feel like that we are at that point, even with the small businesses, small builders, we're at that point where we're doing things as efficient and as resilient as they can be done. We don't need to continue to pile them.
Would a typical small home builder have an in-house legal department?
No.
Would a typical small home builder have an in-house compliance department?
No.
Now, another thing that I hear frequently I'm from Florida, so one thing that I hear frequently back home is concern about the rising cost of housing. And in your written testimony, you also mentioned that energy efficiency enhancements are often not fully accounted for in the appraisal of homes. Can you explain to us why these enhancements might be difficult to account for?
Well, I can tell you from experience, as we tried, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big advocate of energy efficient systems, and I've been using them for 25 years. And I can tell you, in that 25 years, I've had one appraiser to give me any extra credit for an innovative new product. That's also a crisis. I've been sitting on round tables for 25 years, and we've gotten nowhere with it. And that makes it difficult, too, as we continue to add regulations. If you're not going to get credit for it and you can't afford to pay for it to begin with, we've gotten nowhere.
So in other words, a home buyer who pays for a more expensive specific appliance to comply with this type of standard might not see that value add in the home later if they were to sell it?
Absolutely not.
And tell me, what challenges if there are others, does this disconnect between the appraisal value and the actual construction cost pose for families who are interested in buying a home?
I'm sorry.
How does that affect a family in real terms if they are trying to buy a home?
The appraisal process? Well, sometimes the loan simply won't work. If it won't appraise, you're not going to get the money. And as a rule, especially the farther down the chain, they don't have that extra money. And too many times, young couples, first-time couples, if they can't make that appraisal, they don't have the extra money for a down payment. So in most cases, it's a deal breaker if it won't appraise.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.